even traveling within Africa. You know, I will be in a country, I arrive, and they will be like, how much money do you have in your bank account? Use the ATM, let's check. Oh yeah, that happened to me. Even I'm telling you, Namibia is my favorite country, but that was the first thing that happened to me when I landed. So I can tell you, like, country after country, challenges. But because I believe in what I'm doing, I had to keep going.
You think because of the fact that the government pays for our education?
Of course.
We are pampered.
You're pampered.
But who's complaining? Are you saying we're crybabies?
Yeah, I mean, I see people on the street complaining because even on the internet, you can see Botswana complaining.
You mean we have no right to complain?
No, you have rights to complain, right? But comparing it to where I'm coming from.
This is Mogobe Nuggets of Wisdom podcast. We enthuse, we energize, we inspire, and we empower intrapreneurs and entrepreneurs of all stripes in BW and beyond. Hello and welcome once again to another exciting, wonderful episode of Mogobe Nuggets of Wisdom podcast. I'm super excited to bring you yet another one, and I'm bringing you the son of the soil. By the soil, I'm referring to Africa. Wode Maya, the famous, the one and only Wode Maya. He came all the way from Ghana to check us out, to be within our country. But I don't want to steal his thunder. He's going to introduce himself. But let me do what I normally do. Ask you to strike the subscribe button as well as the notification bell, not neglecting the like button. Please, we need you to wrestle with his algorithms. He will know more than anybody else why it's important for you to strike that subscribe button. And shameless plug as always, my book, Nuggets of Grit. It's also available from Exclusive Books only for a paltry $350. So please do support us as well. Let me welcome you to the studio, Wode Maya.
Thank you.
Welcome to Botswana.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yes, I have to pinch myself to see whether I'm dreaming or not, to make sure that you're really here.
I need to be the one to feel that way.
Yeah.
You know, because we're sitting in a property that belongs to you. You know.
Thank you so much.
Right in the middle of the city center.
Thank you so much.
Congratulations.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Do what we normally do here, which is just a short introduction.
Yeah.
Talk a little bit about yourself.
Yeah.
A condensed CV, if you like, a bit of background.
So my name is Wode Maya, which is not my real name. Wode Maya simply means my mom, because my mom believed in the dreams of becoming a content creator, because I'm an engineer by profession. So quitting engineering to follow what I'm doing right now, it was more like an idea from my mom, and hence the reason why I decided to celebrate my mom. So my name is not Wode Maya. Anytime you're trying to say Wode Maya, you're just calling me my mom. And believe me, I'm not your mom. You know, I'm not your mom.
Yeah.
So real name is Kobby Ackon, born and raised in Ghana. Got opportunity to travel to China and studied aviation engineering. After aviation engineering, felt like I was on a journey to change the negative narrative of Africa. It was more like a calling, and I had to answer the calling. And here we are today, our country number 31, Botswana, here to showcase the beauty of the country to the rest of Africans in Africa and out of Africa.
How was the experience in China? What degree were you pursuing there?
I was doing aeronautical engineering. Yeah. I had a concept of buying a plane for my mom. So I think that even led me to that profession. But I think as I was growing up, I'm like, what a stupid idea, you know, because I don't even have plane for myself. How much more than buying plane for my mom? But my father believed in education, and he always wanted us to be either doctors or engineers. So I have a doctor in my family, I have engineers in my family, and I'm also an engineer. But I was more like, I hate blood so much. So I decided to go into the engineering aspect of it. Went to China, graduated with first class, got my first ever job. And then, I left.
Okay. How was China? Did you have to learn Mandarin?
I speak fluent Mandarin.
Wow.
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 Yeah.
Was it a challenge learning the language?
For me, no. I learned the language in 3 months. I got my first ever Chinese award in in 3 months.
Wow.
To the extent that like I was representing my school in so many Mandarin competition, even though that was not my major. But I felt like it was a gift.
Yes.
So I had to take advantage of the gift, and as it stands now, I still got it. You know.
Okay.
Yeah, I still got it.
The total length of time in China, how long were you there for? And which part of the country were you at?
6 years in China. Stayed in Shenyang for 4 years. 1 year in Beijing, and lost my dad in 2017. And then I ended up in another village in Shandong called Zhaojuan.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. Let's talk about the dream. By the dream, I mean what you're doing now, the big thing that you're doing. How did it evolve? What sparked it, and how did it all begin?
I have a very long story, but I think I'll make it short. So I was in school, and I got the opportunity to have internet around me, 24/7 internet. I mean, I left the village, straight from the village to China. So it was more like a culture shock, knowing that I can just sit in my room and I have internet 24/7, go to the library, everywhere on campus, we literally had internet. So I started doing research, like how can I take advantage of the internet that I have? And guess what? I saw people talking about turn your passion into a profession. And I'm like, do I even have a passion? What do I really enjoy doing?
Yes.
Guess what? I realized that I love talking. And I was like, I talk and no one is paying me for talking. I need to convert that talking into a profession. Hence the reason why I jumped on YouTube. So my research led me to a platform that can actually pay you for talking. YouTube came in, started creating comedy videos. And my father found out my videos, and he's like, yo, I didn't take you to school to become a comedian. You have to come out as an engineer. So my father stopped talking to me, and that is when I spoke to my mom that, hey, I've read a lot online about turning your passion into a profession, and I believe that this can pay off someday. So I told my mom, and my mom was like, you know what, I'll convince your dad on your behalf. 2 weeks later, my dad picked up the phone and called me and said, you know what, your mom has managed to convince me, but this is not what I want my son to be doing. You are not here for comedy, but do something valuable with your life.
Great advice.
So my father called me to come back home, back to Africa, sat me down and said, you speak Mandarin. What a great, opportunity for you. So you know what I want you to do? My father said for him, he has always wanted to see Africa in a different light, but no one is doing it. But now that you speak Chinese, you live in China, why don't you use the Chinese that you speak to change the misconception about Africa, Africans living in China? That was my father's idea. I listened to my dad, went to China, stopped the comedy, and started doing videos that change the perception that people have for Africans living in China. That's how I got my first ever viral video.
Wow. What define viral? How many people? What were you doing there? And how many?
I think it's even one of my top videos to today. So it was more of trying to, I was sharing my experience as a black man in a train where nobody want to sit next to me. In the bus, people don't want to sit next to you because you're black, right? So I'm in the bus, and without all those experiences, I decided to talk about it, not knowing that everyone living in China is also going through the same thing as Africans. So a lot of people could relate to such videos. So they started like sharing. I think in less than 24 hours, that video had 1 million views.
Wow.
And when it had 1 million views, bear in mind, it took me 2 years to get 1,000 people to follow me. But when that video came in, my channel moved from 1,000 to 8,000 in a short time.
Almost overnight.
So that is how viral that video was.
Yes.
From there, I continued the journey of, changing the perception about Africans living in China. And along the line, I saw Africans coming to China. When they come to China, they'll be like, oh man, this is the guy who inspired me. Your videos inspired me to come to China. They were even schooling in China. Some were coming to do business. And like, when they were coming to China, they had
that wasn't your original intent.
That was not my original intent. So I sat down, I'm like, my father gave me this idea, but I think we can do this in a bigger scale. Because in China, the word Africa in Chinese means Feizhou, which means land of nothing.
Really?
That is like, technically.
That's so horrible.
I mean, let's talk about America. the Chinese name for America is Meijo, a beautiful country. Or Meiguo, a beautiful country. Meijo is like beautiful continent, right? And when it comes to Africa,
Land of nothing.
Land of nothing. So already they have that perception about Africa. So I was like, you know what? I want to come back to Africa since I am from here to change that mindset that Chinese people have for Africa. But also when you're living in China, every black man is an African. They don't care which country in Africa you're from. So far
Even
as
if you're an African American.
no, you are an African.
Yeah.
So I also did not believe in that ideology in the past. So I came to Africa in terms of traveling from one country to another just to showcase each and every country unique beauty. And when I started, Africans were like, wait a minute. Is that how beautiful Ethiopia is? Wait a minute. You mean you're telling me that this is Rwanda? So Africans didn't even believe that Africa is beautiful. So
I can relate. I mean, I had similar views. I mean, I couldn't. When you expose some of these big, majestic sites, you know, those developments. I remember one woman you interviewed had 300 units of multi-story buildings. I think it was in Nairobi or
Nairobi, Kenya.
And then I saw 3 or 4 similar,
Yep.
even 5, 6. Now it's like it's becoming common now.
Exactly.
Unbelievable.
Exactly.
So I want to say personally, from the bottom of my heart, my brother, I appreciate what you're doing.
Thank you.
I personally am a big fan.
Thank
In
you.
fact, I'm starstruck currently. All right. So what were the challenges involved in now turning it into a business, which it is now?
So when I started making videos in Africa, I was just a man on a mission to change the negative narrative. And during COVID, I was stuck in my room because I could not travel. Then I read a comment from somebody telling me that, oh, you travel to all these beautiful places in Africa and you try to showcase the beauty of buildings. But guess what? These buildings that you're showing are owned by Chinese, are owned by the Lebanese, are owned by the Indians. I'm like, wait a minute. What this guy is saying? No, I mean, he was right.
Some of the buildings, not all of them.
Yes, but the place that I was sleeping, when I started doing my research about who owns these hotels, they were actually not owned by our people. So I was like, technically, you're right, even though I'm trying to showcase the beauty. So I was like, you know what? It's about time to prove him wrong. That comes in my next videos of entrepreneurship. This was COVID time. So I asked this woman that I was staying in her hotel, are you sure you own this hotel? She said, yes, I own it. I'm like, can I do a story on you? So of course, why not? I did that story and I woke up the next morning and the video was everywhere. Now that's where the success started from. Now I didn't know how to convert that into business because a lot of businesses were reaching out to me that, hey, I have a building here, come and do a piece on me. And I'm like, I was doing everything for free until I went to a unit where I sold almost half of the guy was selling like almost 200 homes, right? And my presence there sold half of them. And I got nothing.
Oh,
Because I didn't know. I was just excited to know that this is owned by you. So I want to tell your story. That's it. I didn't know any business aspect. Then one day I was having conversations with some of my mentors and we're like, do you know that when you sell a property, you can get 5% from it? I'm like, how come the guy didn't even give me $100 out of all the... So I decided to create a business behind what I do. So now for me to come, some of the stories I want to share. But when you come to me and you be like, oh, I have this thing and I want you to share, I'm like, okay, let's do business. So, and they understand the business.
They understand.
So I have a team that handles that. They pay the cash. I come to see you and we do the video. If it's real estate that you're selling, I get my 5% commission plus my appearance fee.
That makes sense.
A lot of money, yeah?
Well, sometimes I don't know when you're joking, when you're serious, but I suspect you're serious this time.
No. No, I am very, very serious. I love the fact that I surrounded myself with people that really know the system. I was talking to one of my mentors today, and then he was checking how much money I've lost in the past. It was like, I'm so glad I met you earlier. And that was how I was able to transform everything that I have to what I'm doing up to today.
I like the name Maya Empire.
Yeah.
What influenced that thinking to think of it as an empire?
Because Maya itself is an empire. We have the Wode Maya brand, and within the Wode Maya brand, now, because I was selling people's property, I decided to start up my own real estate company,
Wow.
which is Maya Homes under Maya Empire.
Great.
So we have different sectors within. So let's say even Maya works for Maya Empire. So at the end of the month, Maya Empire needs to pay me
Yes. Makes sense.
as also part of the group.
Yeah.
So that's how I decided to come up with a business, because sometimes when you work with other entities, they want to, sign contract, and you cannot go there and say that I'm an influencer. We have to use the Maya Empire as the company for the signing.
So very soon you'll have to do a big, story on yourself.
Maybe you have to do that. You have to do that story for me.
Tell me what are the assets, and are you in a position to tell us the balance sheet situation?
Oh, so I would say that I started real estate, which we build and sell. We also bought a couple of units in the city center. So we do Airbnbs. So people come into Ghana, they stay in our properties. We got 4 of them as it stands right now, right in the middle of the city center. We also doing farming, by the way. It's one of my retirement plan, which I've started already.
Wow.
For me, I hate to talk about myself, but I know that we're doing a lot.
Okay.
Yeah.
You've been in the country now, Botswana, about a week?
Yes.
Or a few days?
A week.
Yeah. What brought you here, number one? Number two, what are your impressions about Botswana?
So, Botswana, because I'm on a goal to visit every country in Africa, and Botswana is one of the countries in South Africa that we've been trying so hard to come in. We started applying for visa to this country since 2022.
Really?
And we got the visa in 2024. And even getting the visa in 2024, I had to just post it that I'm being bullied. So please get me my visa as soon as possible. The day I posted, I guess I also bullied them.
Yeah. It helps to use your leverage on social media.
And the following day, I got the visa.
Is there any reason why they were reluctant?
I have no idea. I can't tell.
You're not even going to ask?
Yeah, because, I didn't even know what was happening until I got to the airport and they told me that, oh, you were once rejected. I'm like, oh, wow, why? Even if I was rejected, you guys should have told me that. We refused you. But, they didn't say anything.
But you're not doing anything political or controversial.
I don't
Why
do
would
that.
they refuse you?
And I think maybe...
You should have told me. I would have brought an application to court on your behalf.
that would be amazing. You sue the government.
Yes, to let you in.
Yeah, so that's basically what happened. And I finally made it. First impression, a beautiful country, beautiful people. But I feel like you guys are pampered.
You think so?
But you are still complaining.
You think because of the fact that the government pays for our education?
Of course.
We are pampered.
You're pampered.
But who's complaining? Are you saying we're crybabies?
Yeah, I see people on the street complaining, because even on the internet, you can see Botswana complaining.
You mean we have no right to complain?
No, you have rights to complain, right? But comparing it to where I'm coming from, which means that you actually have a step ahead from some of us, because your school is free, your health is free, the government is even giving free land.
Yes, although you have to wait forever.
Yeah, but knowing that you went to school for free, your investment of going to school can be invested into something else.
Yeah, and you can buy the land, yes.
There's vast land here for agriculture. If you want to do real estate, I'm checking the real estate market and I'm seeing that it's even affordable. In Ghana, for me to buy a studio, you have to spend $75,000. Here, I think I'll spend less than that to buy a studio.
So it's a matter of perspective, isn't it?
Exactly.
Sometimes our little problems, we think they are big problems until we see other parts of the world.
And I think the people of Botswana needs to step out more to see what is happening in the world and come back and realize that, we are not doing that bad. but we can actually also improve on where we are right now. I think it's all about the mindset.
Okay. How did you pick up that quickly? So, I mean, you've only been here a few days. I mean, to come to this realization, it's genius.
So when I travel, I don't isolate myself. When I travel as a traveler, not a tourist. So I spend time with the people. I eat a local meal. I'm everywhere. The places that the locals are, that's where you see me. So I tend to have more conversations with the people, not on the top, but the people on the ground. Then I'll be like, okay, if this is what you are complaining about, what about me?
Yeah.
I mean, you can go to a place called, where we stay in
Kokweng, yes.
and it's a developing area. Guess what? They are constructing the road even before the properties comes out.
Yes.
Where we coming from, we have people that have built mansions and there's no road to drive on.
It's just the bush.
It's just, I'm telling you guys, if you wake up every day, just thank your government. And I'm just hoping that we can just transfer. We take your government to our
to Ghana.
No. We take your government to West Africa. You know, and then bring the West African government and you guys will start crying. You guys will start crying.
Yeah. Okay, no, that's a very good one. Now, I've noticed that you, wherever you go, there is a buzz. I mean, it's almost like, you know, people come like they zoom in like bees.
Yeah.
How do you deal with this thing? Because I've never seen anything like this. I mean, I was with you the other day, and everybody just wants to. How do you handle that? Because I've met celebrities, but you're on another scale.
So I think it all boils down to my upbringing. My father was a man of God, and I saw my father going out and coming in without shoes. And you ask him, Dad, where are your shoes? He said, I gave it to the guy on the street. And my father is my biggest role model. So the things that I never saw my dad doing, I don't think I would just do it just like that. So no matter who I am or whatever name that I have on the internet, I am Kobby before Wode Maya. So
Kobby means?
Kobby is a guy born on Tuesday. That's my name.
Oh.
So in Ghana, the day you were born, you got a name for it.
Oh yeah, the guy born on Tuesday.
It's called Kobby.
Yeah.
So I'm Kobby. So before Wode Maya, there is a Kobby. So that Kobby is me. And that Kobby loves people around him. That Kobby just want to interact. So for me, I think it's the authenticity that I have that draws a lot of people close to me. I mean, I spend time with president, I spend time with billionaires, but you also see me with the guy selling on the street.
Yes.
So sometimes they're like, I mean, I met a guy and he's like, are you the guy who was on the private jet? I'm like, I'm the one. He's like, how are you here with me? You know, they don't expect to see, but I think I saw my father doing that, and for me, I think it's normal.
It comes
but people,
naturally.
It's just natural. That's the right way. Yeah.
Are we going to see a book about your life anytime soon? I'm sure there's a lot to write about.
I'm telling you, I've seen people writing about me that I have no idea, and they're selling it. Yeah, people are writing books because I think people.
Where?
Yeah, Amazon.
Okay.
Somebody just wrote a whole book about my travels, about who I am.
Just from the internet?
Just from the internet. Because like I tell my story, people saw me from China days where I had nothing. If I tell you my story of not even starting videos with just the
phone, yeah.
And without cameras, and the people that have been following me back in the days, to the extent that my first camera was bought by a follower. So they know the story. So people have been documenting that from the past to where we are right now. So I mean, someday, definitely, even my travels in Africa is a whole book on its own. Not to talk of the person Wode Maya.
There's so many of us who are your followers. And we have our favorites in terms of the scenes that you've been to. One of my favorites, for instance, is when you are in Suriname, and another is when you are in Ethiopia. Those were very, very beautiful experiences where you're just smiling and you don't know what you're smiling at. You're watching and you're laughing. You know, it's just a beautiful experience. I just wonder for you, what would be your favorite 2 or 3, shots or experiences?
That's really a tough question. But I would say first favorite would be Malawi. Is it Malawi or Uganda? There's a country that I went to, and I was entering a village, and the entire village came to welcome me.
Wow.
Yeah, some were riding motorbikes, some were holding, trees, what do you call it, plants, flowers, just
like
waving,
branches waving.
And I just broke down. At that moment, I started shedding tears, and I'm like, I've never seen anything like this before. I felt like I was the president of the country that time. And
so it could be either Uganda or Malawi.
It should be Uganda. It's Uganda. So Uganda. I got so emotional of that country. Malawi, what do you call it? I love talking about Malawi because the people are so genuine. It's a country that I think the people live to their name. The warm heart of the people. I mean, the country can do better, but the people are incredible. Namibia is the top on the list. My favorite country. I had best experience of my life in Namibia. I mean, I hope that someday it's gonna be visa free for me. Hoping.
What was so special about it?
So, I love living an indoor lifestyle, and because I'm always out there, Namibia gave me that indoor lifestyle, and it was my first time seeing a country that peaceful, quiet. Desert meeting the ocean, spend time with the Himbers. Like I could drive in the country for 8 hours without coming across pothole. We could just drive along the ocean, just enjoying the breeze. Like Namibia gives you the chance to think, and for me, top on the list.
Wow. I mentioned Suriname, and we noticed that there's one place where there are black people like me and you in the middle of in the middle of where you didn't think they are.
Yep.
And you articulated so well. Do you want to say something about that experience? Because it was fascinating for me.
So after traveling within Africa, I realized that the African Union declared Africans in the diaspora as the CIS region. But I noticed that...
what region?
CIS region. Africa got 5 regions. The East, North, Southwest, Central, 5.
6th region,
the
number
CIS,
6.
Number 6 is the diaspora. But then African Union declared that. But the ordinary African does not even know where the CIS region is.
Yeah, it's part of Africa.
And I feel like that union need to be collapsed, because at the end of the day, it's just a meet and greet, without doing anything to benefit the ordinary African.
At least nothing that we can see. Yeah.
Thank you. So I took it upon myself that I want to connect the dots. And it's the best thing I've ever done. When I went to Suriname, the people thought they've been neglected by Africa. But then seeing me there, and he came to look for us. It was beautiful. And what even makes it so beautiful is that the food they eat, the language they speak, you can actually trace it back to Africa.
The dialects seem similar.
Pieces I could pick a
few words
in their language, and I'm like, that's how we say, and it got the same meaning.
Wow.
It's not different. The shrine settings, when you go to West Africa, somewhere in the south, you guys don't do voodoo and those kind of things. But when you go to West, we have voodoo, and that place got voodoo. Like they believe in the ancestors.
Wow.
Their religion, their culture, the food, the dance, music and dance. I felt like I was in Africa. And when I started making these videos, Africans were like, are you somewhere in Africa or you're out of Africa? And I'm like, this is the CIS region of Africa.
Wow. This is brilliant. I want to ask you, as a content creator and also as a content curator, whether there are any tricks or tactics or skills that you want to share, or is there a philosophy behind your approach to get to 1.6 million followers? It's not a joke. Subscribers for that matter. And you are selling business content. Normally those sort of people are comedians and entertainers, but you are selling serious content.
Because of what you just said, I would tell every content creator to be dare to be different. When I started, people told me that positivity does not sell. But as I sit here, there is no negative media that is making or selling more than me.
Wow.
Because even with your entertainment content, right? We have something we call CPM.
What's that?
CPM is cost per milli. So anytime I upload a video, 1,000 people, if 1,000 people watch that video, let's talk about you are creating comedy videos. That's entertainment. I am creating business videos. If you upload a video and you get 1,000 views, you will be making less money because you're doing entertainment. But because I am doing business, I'll make times 10, times 12, times 15 more than the money you make per 1,000 views. So I don't even need to get more views to make more money. But you have to, make sure you get all the million views before you be able to even get half of what I make.
What do you mean get? You mean get paid by YouTube?
Yes. So you get paid, like all the platform pays you. YouTube pays you, Facebook pays you, TikTok pays you, like every platform pays you for being on the platform. It's not, I can't be there for free.
No.
They pay you. I don't know. I think I was
But you have to be in the millions to get paid, right?
No. You just have 1,000 people following you and you're good to go.
Yeah.
Initially, when I even started, the first day you upload your video, you start making money. And a big shout out to, since I'm in Botswana, let me give a big shout out to the lady who actually taught me how to make money on YouTube. She's actually from Botswana.
Wow. You want to mention the name?
Bumiwale. I'm just gonna, I don't know if you know
Shout out to
Bumiwale.
you, yeah.
Shout out to Bumiwale. She's now in South Africa. We're supposed to link up. She's been waiting for me in this country for quite a long time.
Yeah.
But when I made it, she's in South Africa.
You met her somewhere and she sat down and taught you?
We're in school together. She was doing medicine. I was doing engineering. And then we're all making videos. But like I said, I started my videos more like passion. And then Bumiwale comes in and says that, hey, do you know that you can actually be paid for all these videos? And I'm like, wait a minute. So she showed me, and that's when I
set it up properly.
Made my first salary was $975.
US dollars?
Yes, and that's how I convinced my dad. You know what I did?
Yeah.
I sent that money to my dad's bank account.
That worked,
Yeah. So that did the magic.
Yeah.
And my father was like, do you mean this is the money you made from making videos? And that is when like all my money was going to him till he passed on.
Yeah, but is there an overriding philosophy in terms of so many clips per day, so much production? Is there a guiding philosophy?
No, so let me just say this. First of all, with the content aspect, stay authentic as much as you can.
Be yourself.
Be yourself. And your authenticity will find you the right audience. Because everyone is trying to be someone else. Be you. You can never be Wode Maya.
You can never be a... Yeah.
Do you understand? Yeah. So you just keep creating and the right people will find you. And sometimes we don't have patience. When we create videos and no one is watching, we'll be like, why is no one watching my video? And you get depressed. I'm like, you're not here for the views. You're here for the impact that your videos make. Like I said, for me, if my video gets even 1,000 views, I know that at least that 1,000 views, it will change one person's life.
Yeah.
That is me. So you have to stay authentic, be consistent. One of the hardest thing to do is to be doing this every single day.
Discipline.
It gets boring. So you have to stay disciplined.
Yeah. No matter what.
No matter what happens, you gotta stay disciplined.
Yeah.
Sometimes you wake up and you be like, I don't feel like talking today, but you just have to wake up and talk.
Indeed.
Yeah.
You don't get to the levels that you are without devastation, without setbacks, without even some, in my case, some cataclysmic events along the way. Are there any that you want to share?
It was really tough doing what I do. I've cried behind the scenes. If I should go deep down, I might even cry, because...
There was a post when you said you wanted to quit, which scared some of us.
Yeah, because I personally started with nothing, and I built everything that I have brick by brick, to a point that even my travels in Africa, I was some point deported from countries. I was...
Why?
Yeah, I was deported from... Zambia deported me, and now the government wants me back. Uganda deported me. The government called me back and apologized to me. Being a young kid and being put in a room where you don't know anyone in there, because I was holding a camera in my hands and they said I came to spy the president of the country. And right there, the woman picked up my ticket, tore it into pieces, and then told me that you are getting deported. So at the end of the day, I was deported from the country that I came from. I mean, I was arrested even in Zambia. We're mobbed because we're shooting on a city, because we trying to showcase Africa beyond the animals that everybody shows you. So we need to show you the beauty of our cities before we go to the animal side. So we're in the CBD of Zambia shooting, and then somebody shouted, "Hey, why are you guys shooting the city instead of going to shoot the animals?" And we are like, we're trying to project this country in a positive light. I said, no, you don't need to do that. You need to showcase the animals. The guy said, "Where are you from?" We said, "We're from West Africa." "Oh, this Nigerians." Oh, and everybody started mobbing us. So we had to run into a bank because we were almost...
They want to physically assault you.
Almost. So from there, they took us to the police station. What saved me was the policeman in there was a fan. And I was like, I know this guy. This guy should do beautiful videos about Africa. And that's where... so it hasn't been easy. And also, Africans don't understand what we're trying to achieve with our content. I mean, like I said, visa get denied sometimes. And even traveling within Africa. You know, I will be in a country, I arrive, and they will be like, "How much money do you have in your bank account? Use the ATM. Let's check." Oh, yeah. That happened to me. Even I'm telling you, Namibia is my favorite country, but that was the first thing that happened to me when I landed. So I can tell you, like, country after country, challenges. But because I believe in what I'm doing, I had to keep going.
Well, let me apologize on behalf of my country for making you suffer for 2 years. You know, to come here, you know.
But
we're not normally like that.
No, but if that does not happen, you won't be able to tell the stories, because if it's that easy, everybody will be doing it. These are the occupational hazards that comes with your work, and it keeps you going. Yeah.
Okay. Now, let's look into the future. If you had a crystal ball, and were to look at maybe 10 years from now, a couple of decades, what unfolds? What can we expect from the brand Maya Empire and Wode Maya?
So the brand Wode Maya is trying to enter into more like a whole TV channel that strictly focus on rebranding Africa. It's something that we're definitely working on it. And also we're trying to put a few people together.
Please don't, when you're successful, don't sell. I saw Black Entertainment in America, BET. They when they were successful, they sold.
We are not selling it.
Please, whatever you do, when you're super successful, don't sell.
The one thing that I noticed that Africans don't, even though we have a voice, but we still don't have a voice, because the platforms that we are, voicing out our opinions don't belong to us. So we're trying to come up with our own, so that Africans can have platforms that they will say that this is us and it belongs to us.
So it will be like your own DSTV.
That's it.
Okay, based in Ghana?
I'm an African man.
Yeah, you'll find a way.
We'll choose one country that accept us.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. I might even partner with you. Who knows?
That would be amazing.
All right. No, that sounds like an exciting vision. Anything else?
So, personally, I'm a big fan of real estate. So, looking forward to expanding our real estate portfolio. So, I'll come and get some nuggets from you. There are more, which we barely talk about that on camera. Yeah. But I think I'll talk to you about that behind the scenes.
Yeah, even if, by the way, just for you, viewer, he plans to interview me. He's actually doing a profile. So, we'll cover a lot more on real estate.
Yeah.
All right, now you get a chance to hit me with a question as we wrap up our conversation. What would you like to ask me?
My biggest question is, why is this so hard to have so many successful Africans in terms of million and billion dollar net worth Africans? Why is this so difficult? Why do you think we don't have so many millionaires? Why are we not creating millionaires intentionally in Africa?
Yeah, my take on this is that societies that have changed. If you look at Singapore, you look at China, You look at even Dubai, they were exactly where we were in 1966 or in the 60s when we gained our independence. Some of them were worse off than us. But they took deliberate steps, specific deliberate steps to change their societies. In Dubai, we had a leadership that was very, very conscious about that. For instance, they had things like the Ministry of Happiness. Can you believe that? They recognized the importance of that. They were zero tolerance for corruption. They put it in the statute books and they enforced it thoroughly. And then they went all out for innovation and entrepreneurship and encouraged it and welcomed people from outside. The example of China consists of a situation where literally 25 years ago they opened for the West, and they said, come, but on one condition: let there be knowledge transfer. Make sure that you teach us how you do these things. And it became a condition. Our governments have not adopted that rigorous attitude of saying, promoting entrepreneurship, being very, very conscious about happiness, making it a national goal. And then, of course, in my view, the issue of ensuring that there's knowledge transfer. It's not just about doing business. There's actual empowerment that takes place, that is legislated, that is done. So I think we're ready now as a continent. I mean, in terms of Botswana, for instance, trying to move from a middle-income country to a high-income country. We are conscious about it. We set up the Ministry of Entrepreneurship. We are now talking about this mindset change. And I'm involved in the process of developing entrepreneurs and training entrepreneurs. And if people like me are conscious and deliberate about this, we're going to change. We're going to be Dubai. We're going to be Singapore. We're going to even reach higher levels than that. So it has not happened because it has not been done deliberately. So we have to now do it. And we're beginning to do it. And we're changing our mindset. This backward thinking that we've had for so long, we are removing that. That's the
amazing.
best answer I can give you.
No, I mean, I'm so happy to hear that. And I'm just hoping that it's not going to be just talk, but the deeds.
Yes. Some of us are trying to live the talk and walk the talk.
That's
and people like yourself coming here, and my good friend there, Denim Richards, people like this are influencing the mindset. Because what I've noticed that it doesn't take a lot eventually for the is it the dam wall to break? Eventually, then suddenly there's going to be a huge renaissance that's going to take place. I can see it taking place.
It's happening.
It's happening.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for taking the time out.
Thanks for
having me. Let me just thank you for taking I mean, really, it's a sacrifice for you to come here, and it's also a massive honor for me. And dear viewer, let me remind you to do the usual. Strike that subscribe button, and the book is available at Exclusive Books. And let's stay in touch with one another. We keep bringing you giants like Wode Maya. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Thank you.